I'm going to do my best to record this video before Kalani wakes up because she has been really kind of screamy lately. She just wants to be next to me, constantly out of her cage, on me, flying around. And sometimes that doesn't always work for me. So if I have to put her in her cage, she's screaming at me constantly. I'm going to try to get this video done. We will see. It is way too early in the morning. I have my cup of coffee. I know you guys have probably been wondering where I've been. So I'll kind of share where I've been, what's been going on, some projects I've been working on, books I'm planning on reading, goals for the year, all that kind of fun stuff in today's video. Every December, I usually take the last 2 weeks off because by the end of the year, my brain is just done. I will try to sit down and get things done, and my brain just will not let me. So I usually take the last 2 weeks off. I was gonna do a couple of fun things, maybe do like record a yarn advent for every day, but the thought of that completely overwhelmed me. I did do that on Instagram. I had gotten the box from Leap of Faith Yarns, her yarn advent. I forgot the name of it already. If I had written it down, I could have just looked at my notes and saw that what it was called. In God's Garden. Okay, see, my menopause brain is catching up with me. So it was called In God's Garden, and it was basically like all just different yarn colors representing different flowers and stuff like that. It was really cool. There was so many beautiful colors, and I'll link my Instagram below, and you can go back and look through all the yarn advents. I did one every day. So anyway, I was going to do that here, but I'm a perfectionist and I will take hours recording and editing a video. And by the time I would have been able to post it, it would have been days later. So anyway, that's one of my goals this year, is to not try to be so perfect in everything that I do. My name is Sherry Mellick, and I struggle with perfectionism. And it honestly has hindered so much of the things that I want to do in my business, in life, mainly in my business, like writing blog posts, videos that I want to create, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I know it's just craziness. Anyway, that's kind of where I've been. I've just been here, and my brain was just like, take a break. And I really should have came on here at least and said, hey guys, I'm going to take a break for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or however many. It's been almost a month now, I guess. Let's see. I can't even remember the last time I posted a video. Okay. I just looked, and the last time I posted anything on my YouTube channel was November 20th. That's crazy. Anyway, I'm here. I'm back, and we are going to get back into the swing of things. And yes, I will probably take the entire month of December off again this year, but I will let you guys know. Okay, so I want to share with you guys a couple of pattern tests that I did in December, and the patterns have been released, so I can share the patterns with you guys. The first pattern I wanted to, in December, I guess I was just really wanting to do some fun patterns instead of focusing on like designs that I'm creating or, working up patterns from my designers that I work with. So I applied to be a tester for a couple of patterns, and I was accepted, and they're really cool patterns. So the first pattern I want to show you is the Shoebill Stork. This is from Starbird Creations, and I'll link her the pattern down in the description box. So this is the Shoebill Stork. I have to scoot back so you guys can see. This thing is huge. It's sitting on my lap. I love it. I really had a lot of fun. There's so many details about this, the individual feathers, the wings here, and I really wanted to do more of these feathers and put it all over. There's wires. There's wires in here, which is really cool. And it stands up all by itself. Anyway, the pattern, it called for joining, which it ended up leaving the seam, which I know that the way the pattern was written, having it joined and creating that seam was because of the different increases and the different way that she designed it. If I went back and made another one, which I probably won't because it was a lot of work, I would continue. I would not join the seam because I don't like this. Irritates me. A seam in amigurumi irritates me. Anyway, there's cute little details. It's just really neat. And the little thing. So this is what a real shoebill stork looks like. And they're really like fascinating. They're just fascinating birds. Anyway, this was a lot of fun. And the pattern was well written. However, it was not tech edited. So there's that, but that's okay. Oh, look at the tail feathers. This was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. The next pattern that I tested was a doily pattern from East End Hooker. I love this pattern. And I actually, and I'll show it to you guys in a minute, but I actually took a canvas because the pattern called for thread, and I ended up using Scapier's stonewashed yarn. And so the doily ended up being a lot bigger. It was 30 inches by the time I was done with it. Anyway, I ended up using a DK weight, and that thing was huge, but it is like an art piece. I swear. It's just absolutely beautiful. I love all her designs. And in pattern testing, I got to know her a little bit more. We've had conversations. The pattern after this that she published, I ended up editing for her. And I mean, honestly, it's just really gorgeous. So take a look. I also started a blanket pattern from Owl Be Hooked. She does filet crochet blankets, and there's one pattern of hers that I have been wanting to purchase and make, and I finally did. I have not finished it, but I can't mention it right now because it's for a special someone, and that special someone might be watching this video. So I don't want to give it away, but that has there's been a couple of rows that I'll work and I mess them up. The same 2 rows every single time. So I have done quite a bit of frogging on that pattern, and it's not the pattern, it's my brain. Anyway, so I will probably show you guys, maybe next month I'll have it finished, and then I will give it to the person and then I can show you guys. But one of the goals that I have for this year, I kind of started last year, at the end of last year, is knitting. I have always wanted to learn how to knit, especially socks. Knitted socks, I just honestly think are so much better than crochet socks. Don't come after me, please. Anyway, so I've been teaching myself how to knit with knitting socks. I cannot find, oh, here's my project bag. Okay, so I have started and stopped 3 times. So I made like the cuff of the sock. I've made the leg of the sock, and I tried it on and I could not get it. It was way too tight. I crochet very tight. That's why I do really well with tapestry crochet. And I'm also knitting way too tight. So my friend Carol, she came to Georgia to visit, and we went to a couple of yarn shops, and she was telling me I needed to get bigger needles. So anyway, here is the cuff. I ended up getting bigger needles. I can't even see the size of the needle on here. I think it's a 3.25. I don't know. I can't see. I would have to get my magnifying glass out. Anyway, so here we are. I don't know if you guys can see that. I love it. And of course I had to get an expensive yarn to use instead of just using like some cheap yarn to practice. No, Sherry's got to get, the hardest thing to learn. Besides, I think a sweater. A sweater would be harder. A couple of people had said, why are you teaching yourself how to knit with socks? They're kind of difficult. And I'm like, because I just am a go big or go home kind of person. Anyway, so I have had to start and stop several times, but I am on my way. So this is the cuff of one, and we'll see how far I can get on it. Another project I finished was the biased granny square scarf from the Sheepy Shire. I actually edited this pattern, and it was just a lot of fun to make. It was just one of those no-brainers where it was a 2-row repeat, and you just keep going and going and going, and it was just so fun. And then after so many rows, you change either the color or the type of yarn. So there was 2 yarns that I used. I used her merino wool yarn and then her alpaca floof yarn. So here is a close-up. The alpaca is like fuzzy. Isn't that awesome? The contrast of it is really great, and it's super soft. The colorway, and I will link it in the description box below. The colorway is called Unicorn Farts. If y'all judge me, that's okay. I personally think farts are funny. And she has a whole line of flatulence yarn. I love it. Anyway, so the bias granny square scarf, and I will link it below as well. The other day on Friday, we had a winter storm come through, and my husband had to go to work. I sat at my computer and I was going to get some work done, but I was like, I really just need a snow day. I ended up turning my computer off, sat in the living room, crocheted, watched a movie. I watched The Greatest Showman. I don't know why it took me so long to watch it, but it was really good. Like, it wasn't, I don't know. I think people put way too much hype over certain things. It was a good movie, but it was not everything that everyone was cracking it up to be. Anyway, so my friend had messaged me and she was like, hey, can you make this hat for me? And she sent me a picture. So I found a YouTube video for this ruffle hat. I will, of course, link it in the description box below, but it is so cute. I ended up using, what yarn was it? I used the Premier Puzzle in Maize. The color is called Maize, but it is so cute. So hopefully we'll meet up this week and I can give it to her and I'll get some pictures and post them. But yeah, I mean, literally this worked up so fast. I watched the movie and it was like a movie and a half. I got the hat done. Of course, I took breaks and ate some, snacks and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I also have started a sourdough journey. I have been really wanting to make sourdough. Last summer, I had attempted to, and I just had no idea what I was doing. I ended up finding this video, and I guess I just nerd out. Like, I want to understand why things do what they do, or why all this stuff. Like, I just want to know why. I love to learn. I love to know how things work, or, like, don't just tell me to do something. Tell me why you want me to do it. I think that's the most trouble that I always got into as a kid, because my parents just wanted me to do stuff. And I was always like, well, why do you want me to do that? Anyway, so I found this video of this man who he like just explains the whole science behind it. It's a super nerdy video, but it helped me to understand what was going on in the whole process of starting a sourdough. Anyway, I got it started, found this fella, watched his video. It's like an hour long, but it's a super nerdy video. So if you nerd out on that kind of stuff, you can find the link in the description box below. It will help you start a starter and know what to look for and know why things are doing what they're doing in the whole process. Anyway, so I got my sourdough starter. The bubbles are happening. I cannot wait until I make my first sourdough bread. So we'll see. For Christmas, my husband bought me this Perch Me feeder, and it has been so fun watching the birds eat. We've seen some fights. So one time we actually put mealworms in the feeder, and this was the day before the storm, and a squirrel came and visited the feeder and literally sat there on the perch and ate every single mealworm. Like, by the time he was done, his belly was so full and he was breathing really hard because he was just so full. I guess he knew that there was going to be a big snow, so he must have slept all day during the snow day because his little belly was full. Anyway, so we have seen some of the coolest birds, and here, check out this video. With it being the new year, of course, I always have plans. I am a planner. I love to complete tasks. That is how I am. Every year, I tell myself I'm not going to overdo it. Like, I need to be realistic. So to help me with that, I actually created a planner specifically for crochet designers. There is a pre-planning section, which kind of analyzes the year, the previous year, all the things that you did, whether it's blog posts or patterns or whatever. And then there's a section for planning out your year, and it kind of gives like realistic timelines and all that kind of stuff. And then it has like your actual like get real section where you actually plan out realistic goals. Anyway, I am going to create a video talking more about the planner and also talking more about, just planning out your year and kind of being realistic. Like, I have a tendency to overdo it. And this year I really wanted to just take a couple of things and do those things well. So I am wanting to focus on eating healthy and losing some weight, getting back into the gym, and I've already gotten back into therapy, which has been great. I think everybody should go to therapy. I was going to read through the Bible in a year, but the thought of that this year just kind of overwhelms me. So I'm going to be focusing on just really studying it, studying a book of the Bible, taking my time. If I study just one book of the Bible and get the full understanding of it, it's a win for me. Anyway, I don't know about you, but I love to have like a word of the year, something that I can just focus on, a word that kind of describes something that I need in my life. So my word for the year this year is abide. And I feel like that's kind of just what I'm really needing, to abide in the Lord, to just be more present, to stop focusing on things that I don't need to focus on. Like, I have certain goals that I want to achieve in my business, but I constantly get distracted. So I want to abide in those places and to just abide in the Lord, just to be more present. Anyway, so I actually have a planner. I purchase this planner every year. It is the Christian Planner. And it's just a really cool planner. And it is Christian based. It is owned by a veteran, which I love to support veterans because my husband is a veteran and I just love our military. Anyway, so they have a space where you can, have a vision board, and I was going to do some collage stuff. I don't know. I'm not stressing myself out. That's one of the things that I'm going to do my best not to do this year, is stress myself out about getting things done and doing things perfectly. So anyway, I did some art for my word, and here it is so far. So the scripture let me see if I can find it. Hold on just a sec. Okay, I found it. I forgot what the reference was, so I have it up on my computer. It is John 15, 4 through 11, but I'm just going to read verse 5. I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit, for without me you can do nothing. Amen. Because I feel like that's kind of where I was last year. I was just on the hustle bus, but I feel like I was not getting anywhere. And I really was having a hard time in my prayer life. I was not consistent in my Bible reading. I was not consistent in my relationship with God. This year, I'm wanting to change that. But honestly, I can't do that just in and of myself. I need his help. So anyway, I am going to, I'm not sure if I'm going to watercolor or if I'm going to do color pencil or how I'm going to finish this. But next time I have an update, I'm going to try to do an update vlog at the end of every month. So this is just kind of counts for like the end of December. And then I'll do another one at the end of January. So I'll be working on that. So basically this right here, so I have my word, and then this here is actually a grapevine, because the scripture talks about that Jesus is the vine, we are the branches. The vine that he's talking about is actually a grapevine. So that's his reference point that he's talking about. So I'm going to do a grapevine here, and we'll see how it turns out. I love to do art, and I love to use like just different kinds of mediums with art. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I'm just kind of letting it, let my creativity flow. One of the other goals I have this year is I would like to design 4 blankets, 4 designs. I'm going to shoot for blankets. I love blankets. I love designing blankets. That's my goal. So I had a blanket that I was starting 2 years ago, 2 years ago, and it was called the LB roller blanket. My inspiration was the lilac breasted roller bird. I believe they are in Africa, but the colors on that bird matched the colors in this skein of yarn. This is the Mandala Ombre yarn in Tranquil. So look at all these colors and look at the bird. I mean, they honestly match. So what I did was my thought was that I would do like different, what is that called? Different textures. So this was the start of the blanket. So I've got different textures. This first one is like one pattern, and then I have a bobble pattern here, and then I have the rope pattern here. And I was just going to keep going. Well, yeah, it's great and all, but it is not as big as I wanted it to be. This is more like a lap or baby blanket, and I wanted it to be like a lot bigger. like bigger than a throw, maybe a twin, maybe like a large throw. Anyway, what I did was I took the cake of yarn and I separated all the colors. I rolled them. So this is all a complete hot, a complete hot mess. But as you can see, I separated all of them and rolled them all into the different color balls. So I think I have like 13 cakes right now that I've separated. So I am completely redoing that design. That's going to be one of the first ones that I'm working on. So I started the panel. The first panel, it's stuck. There we go. The first panel I'm working on is really inspired by my husband. He loves this stitch, and it, for me, is a pain in the neck. He loves the waffle stitch. He loves like the raised stitches, and he likes the fabric to be tight where there's no holes or gaps in it. Anyway, so this is the texture so far. Let me see if you can see it better. There we go. Yeah, so it's a kind of a mini basket weave. So I am here on it, and it's taking me forever. So I have this stitch marker here, and I have to do 80 more rows for it to reach I'm going to do 70 inches. It's going to be big, but I'm getting there. Honestly, struggle with just sitting in one spot for a long time. I probably need to, I know when it gets even bigger, I'm not going to be able to do this. But if I can work on the panels, like while I'm walking on the treadmill or something, that would be ideal, because I think I would work on it more. I'll sit down, I don't really have time during the day to crochet. I'm running errands, I'm editing patterns, I'm doing all that stuff. So during my work day, I just don't have time. So oftentimes I will sit down at night or during the evening and work on a few rows. Then I get distracted. Kalani gets into things. I have to go get her. And I'm always telling my husband, and he'll attest to this, I can never sit down. I can never sit down because something will happen. I need to do the dishes or dinner time, or, Kalani gets into things. Anyway, so I am hoping, I'm giving myself one pattern a quarter. With all the birds coming to the feeder, I would like to do some designs around some of the birds that have been showing up. So it'll be fun, and I'm just going to have fun with it. That's my goal, is at the end of every pattern, I want to make sure that I'm just having fun. I don't want the process to be super frustrating. So I'm not going to dedicate putting out one pattern a month. That is just absolutely unrealistic. So I'm just going to do one a quarter. Of course, blankets take a lot longer than a scarf or a beanie or whatever. So anyway, that is my goal, and we'll see how it turns out. I'm really kind of excited. Once I get this panel done, I thought about doing 2 of these panels, but I'm not sure if I can mentally handle doing another panel like this. Anyway, the last thing I want to share with you guys is some of the books that I want to read, or one that I'm reading right now, and some that are in the queue for me to read. I really have been wanting to get back into things that I've always enjoyed doing, like painting and doing some art, reading. I kind of put reading on the back burner because I've just made myself so busy. And I'm really kind of stepping away from busy. I'm still going to edit, and I'm still going to do all those things, but I'm going to not overwhelm myself with doing so much. Anyway, I would like to get back into reading books, doing art, all that kind of stuff. So here are some of the books that I want to read this year. I'm going to be reading a mixture of fiction and nonfiction. Some books will be for, business. Others will be just for fun. So a book that I'm currently reading is from Rabbi Daniel Lapin. It's called Business Secrets from the Bible. And it's just really good. And it's the little tagline here says, Spiritual Success Strategies for Financial Abundance. This book is not, so far, it has not been about any type of prosperity gospel, but it's just like taking principles found in the Bible and just kind of going deeper into it. I am just really starting the 3rd chapter, so I'm not that far into the book to see that it's, about the prosperity gospel or anything. So far, it has not been. It's just been kind of sharing some truths, and it's been kind of good. So anyway, when I'm finished with it, I will give you guys a full review about it, probably on my blog. Okay, so that is one book, and I'm actually going to do a video in the future about books that you need to be reading for your crochet business, because they have been so helpful. And I will also say, I know not everybody who watches my videos are Christians or religious in any way, shape, or form. And if you're not, that's okay. This book, one of the things that it says in the introduction of this book is you don't have to be, believe the same way to have these principles apply to you, because they're just principles. They're like, whether you believe them or not, the principles do apply to everybody. Anyway, so take that for what it's worth. I'm not going to push anything on you. Anyway, so the next book, and I'm telling you, I'm halfway done with this book, and it has taken me way too long to finish it. I started it last year, and I am bound and determined to get it finished this month. So I have a couple weeks left, but it's called A Man Called Ove. And there's a movie of this book, which we all know the books are always better than the movies. So I'm going to finish this book, and then I'm going to watch the movie. I'm hoping by the end of the month. Another book that I want to read is called The Good Pig. And my friend had given this book to me. She said it was really good. I'm not entirely sure what it is about. I saw it on the table next to the couch when I went to her house, and I was like, ooh, but it's called The Good Pig, The Extraordinary Life of Christopher Hogwood. And she had told me kind of what it's about, but anyway, that's next on the list. When I worked in the school system, I worked with children with special needs. My specialty was with children with autism, and I would take them to the library quite often, and I would choose books so that we can have like a reading time. We always loved to sit on the bean bags, and I would read to them. We would dim the lights and just really let them kind of just chill out, and I would read. Well, I read the book from Ronald Dahl, the BFG, The Big Friendly Giant. And I absolutely loved that book. Loved the movie. I just love a lot of his stuff. So went to Costco the other day, and I found this, The Twits Next Door. That is going to be on my list. I love the artwork. I'm sure it's going to be good. I know this is made, written for younger people, but hey, I am a child at heart. So that is also on my list. So I do have most of the year planned out for the content that I want to create, different blog posts that I want to write, and different videos that I want to share with you guys. And I do plan to do more of these update videos, probably just once a month at the end of the month, kind of update you guys as to where I'm at with my book reading, with projects I'm working on, and just to update you guys with all the things. I will see y'all next week. God bless.